The fires are gone, they're getting back to normal. It's time for you guys to get back into town. Come and help the locals. Come and enjoy what we've enjoyed today, boys. Thank you very, very much. Well, one of the moments I'd been waiting for. The feast at George and Ruby's place. There's always something to look forward to. The amazing result. Everything we've caught today, plus what Ruby's prepared here for us, plus a fantastic group of people in this beautiful place, Bermagui. Get down here, guys. For us, it's time to eat. So, bon appetit.
You bring the fish and I'll cook you.
Hi, I'm Susanna. Today we're going to look at your leg extension exercises to make sure we're getting most out of that move. Come on down onto your back, hands by your side, feet up. So we start off by extending one leg out and bringing it back in. Straight away you can feel that through the front of the leg and your tummy muscles. Now what we really need to concentrate on here is making sure our lower back is directly onto your mat, onto the floor. We never want to see a curve once you're extending. If you've got room to place your hand under your lower back, that's too much space. That's definitely going to have an impact on your lower back and not in a good way. So brace the belly tight, that will drop the lower back and gently extend. Now, if that's too much again, and despite you bracing your belly, your lower back is still lifting, just reduce the range of motion. So instead of going low down here, keep it up. Keep it high. And that should help. Still getting the same workout, but you're keeping your lower back safe. And now we know how to work the leg extensions.
Hello, welcome to this Northern Access TV special, Inside 6 News. And our guest today is Leonardo Puglisi, the young presenter and producer of a local internet news channel, 6 News. So welcome, Leonardo.
Great to be here.
I first came across your bulletins when you asked me to use some footage of mine that I posted a little while ago. So how long now have you been making your 6 News segments?
I think it's been over a year now. I think about a year and 2 months. I started doing only a bit of local news for the area, covering a bit of the council news and the local school news. But since then I've rebranded a couple of times, that I've moved to accommodate a lot more state, national and world news. So a lot of changes since I began.
So what sort of work do you have to do to make the news bulletins happen? Because there's an awful lot of work behind the scenes, isn't there?
Tell me about it. I have to research, then I write the script, produce it, edit it, and with the editing, that's a big long thing I have to do. I've got to add in the green screen technology and all the graphics and the lower thirds and the watermarks. So it's a lot of work, but I think it's definitely very rewarding.
So how did you develop your passion for the news, do you think?
Tough one. I don't know, I've been watching the news since a very young age. There's some footage of me that I don't want to ever resurface, but me watching the news at a very, very young age, and I think it was the ABC. And, I always wanted to, like being on TV and in front of the camera, and I always liked making movies and doing a bit of editing. And I always, I guess I like, watching the news, so I guess it all sort of came together, and 6 News was born, I guess.
So what are some of the stories you've broken over that time? Because you've gone out on location quite a few times, haven't you?
Yeah, plenty of times. The bushfires, I was the first with the vision of the Black Hawk helicopters that were flying over, and there's been a lot this year, some undercover footage from Coles that was sent by one of their employees, some footage of the local school, tape being vandalised, the school, as I just said, making some really awful alleged decisions. But a lot of the stuff I do is, not the same stories you'd see on the mainstream news. And even if it is, there's always a different element to it, something that you won't see on the main networks.
So you always look for that slightly different angle sometimes?
Yeah, because I get a lot of input from the viewers. We always we have a social media segment to see what's trending, and we get viewer input. You have your say, and we have weekly polls on the biggest stories, and I think including the viewers is a big part of it, and it's something that I've really enjoyed doing over the past few weeks.
So what have been some of the controversial issues you've had on Your Say recently?
Well, it wasn't too recent, but I do recall my my old school when we used to show my weekly bulletins there. And at one point I started criticising the school because of some decisions they allegedly made, and I'm going to keep mentioning allegedly, but eventually the principal came in and said we couldn't watch it, and it was banned from school premises. And now I can, I can report freely on them, although my brother is still there, but I can say what I want as I'm no longer there in high school now. And I did cause a lot of controversy with that, and some of the teachers were on board, and some of the staff in higher office, as I said, principal, they weren't too happy with it.
So apart from your school, what are some of the locations you've gone to make some of your stories?
Well, the bushfires, we went through Victoria, but New South Wales a lot. There was Albury, Canberra, Sydney, Wagga, Bathurst, Narrabeen, a lot of places there, and a lot of the stuff was just unscripted. We just pulled over and pieced a camera. I was wearing a shirt and a tie the entire time with the microphone sitting next to me and editing in the back seat of the car. And that was it wasn't the best time. It wasn't always the happiest news, but it was a good experience for me to do on the road reporting when you have little information to go by, but you've still got to be as accurate as possible.
Okay, and we'll have a look at the first of those segments now from 6 News.
We begin with the job losses at News Corp Australia, with dozens of local papers set to become online only. Papers from several different states will stop printing before the end of June, with the Sydney Morning Herald reporting that hundreds of jobs will go. This graphic from SBS World News shows how the Australian media industry has been affected since the start of the year, including the shutdown of the Australian Associated Press, pay cuts at 7 West Media, which owns the 7 network, and the closure of 10 Daily. It's expected that there will be more cuts at 7, 9, 10, News Corp and other media companies in Australia in the near future. Australians could be travelling overseas by the end of the year. It's thought that we could be flying to New Zealand if a travel bubble goes ahead as planned. There's also thoughts we could go to other nearby destinations, including Vanuatu, Fiji and Indonesia. But don't pack your bags just yet. Australia and nearby countries will need to keep their coronavirus cases down before we are able to go overseas. The US has now passed 100,000 coronavirus deaths, and experts fear it's going to get worse if people keep ignoring social distancing. Despite that, some states have already begun easing lockdown laws. Despite that, expert medical advice of advising them not to. The latest count of fatalities may pass the American death toll from the Korean War, where more than 116,000 US soldiers died in combat. Donald Trump has threatened Twitter after the global site fact-checked him surrounding his tweet about mail-in ballots. Some of your thoughts include Jim, who says this bloke averages at least one false tweet a day. He wouldn't know what a fact was if it hit him in the face. It's time Twitter held the twit-in-chief to account. Lachlan says there are a lot of complaints about fake news at the moment. With such complaints running rampant, actions should be taken to highlight any fake information, especially when this info comes directly from one of the most powerful men in the world. And News Guide 23 says on Twitter, I believe that they did have rights to. Remember to have your say on our social media pages at 6NewsAU. We will have polls every week. Okay, then we're going to take a quick break, back with more news shortly.
We're ready to get back out there again. As we do, it's up to all of us to stay COVID safe. Anytime you leave your house, wash your hands regularly. Keep physical distance where you can. Have the COVID Safe app on your phone. And importantly, if you're feeling sick, you need to stay at home and get tested. Together, we can reduce the risk of a second wave. Stay COVID-free and do the 3.
Authorised by the Chief Medical Officer, Canberra.
Throwing it all away! All of these ones, everything. I'm throwing it all away!
Get down to Gone Fishing, 29 Latham Road, Carrum Downs.
If you're thinking about taking up pistol shooting, competition shotgun, hunting, or just want to eradicate some pests, come in and see us, and we'll look after you the best we can.
When it comes to experiencing better foods and beverages, everything old is new again. Made your way using traditional and healthy methods, the Artisan's Way. Tucked away in West Melbourne and Epping, the Artisan's Bottega is stocked up with all the specialist equipment to make your own cured meats, beers, ciders, wine, spirits, cheese, sauces and much more. Everything you need to start and improve your process. So go on, feed your food passion with the Artisan's Bottega. Visit artisansbottega.com.au. Worried about the dangerous radiation being emitted from all the devices inside and outside your home? Electromagnetic radiation is dangerous and is being emitted right now from your digital TV screen, Wi-Fi, microwave oven and mobile phone. GeoCleanse is an EMF harmonizer which balances the positive charge of all radiation fields, known as harmful energy. With so many appliances in your home emitting electromagnetic radiation, the wise move to protect your family is to invest in a GeoCleanse. Create a safer home environment with a GeoCleanse. Available at www.orgoneffects.com.
Aussie Brett Michaels.
Aussie Brett Michaels. Take a seat and enjoy the show.
Fancy yourself a rock star? Jam along with the Tribute Show.
I have been a Cyndi Lauper fan since I was 15 years old.
With exclusive interviews and live performances from the best tribute acts of all your favourite artists. You won't want to miss a second.
Well, the Slippery When Wet album, of course, that's the soundtrack to my life.
Rock out to the Tribute Show. Wednesdays at 9 p.m, only on Channel 31.
Northern Access Television will turn 30 in 2020. We are planning a celebration night with a book and a special TV show about our history. If you're a past member or a volunteer of NAT, we would love to hear from you. For more details, visit the website nat30years.info and find out how you can help celebrate 30 years of media for the community. The 30th anniversary of Northern Access Television. Let's celebrate in 2020.
Hi and welcome back to Inside 6 News. We're here with Leonardo and you have quite a few people helping you out these days, especially in recent times too. A few have come on board. Who helps you out with the news now?
Well, I've got my my dad who runs the camera a lot, and my mum who's the hair and makeup gal. My brother, he does some reporting and finds some stories. But I've also got people outside of my family. I've got Jack Hahn, he's in Wollongong. He does a lot of reporting about New South Wales news, but a lot on the US as well. Darby Travers, he just joined. He's in Melbourne. He's been covering a lot of international stuff, given what's going on in the US. Lincoln, he who I can't remember the surname of, Holmes, Lincoln Holmes. Thank you very much, Lincoln. Sorry, Lincoln. He helps a lot, and we just got Jarrad Taylor, another reporter. So the team is evolving, and that really puts a bit less pressure on me to always find the stories, and it's really helpful. And I thank them all a lot because it's great. It's a great team.
Yeah. So apart from your team, how do you make contacts to help you out with your stories? Because there's an awful lot of contacts that you need to make to get this going, isn't there?
Yeah, I get a few people who I interview. A lot of them is thanks to my dad. We get a lot through him. But also, you know, if there's a big story, you know, I reach out and I say, you know, can I talk to you, or even just can I use your footage? And you know, I try to get a story, and I've been working a lot on international stuff, and I've been coordinating that and back and forth and making sure, okay, good, this time, my time, and we'll interview you then. And it's a lot of fun, and I really enjoy doing interviews because it provides a lot of content, and it's always good to hear what others have to say.
So are you hoping to make a career out of news reporting? What do you see yourself doing when you go to start work?
I'm not sure, given the what's going on at the media with the media industry right now. But you know, I'd love to do some on the road reporting. I always enjoy doing that. But you know, eventually some presenting, and I don't mind what station, what city, what suburb. I've always said I'd like to stay in Australia, preferably, because you know I love the news here. But wherever the job takes me, I'd be happy to go.
So what are some of your heroes in the news industry, do you reckon?
There's a lot. I guess probably one of my favourites, and he formerly at the ABC, and this is really because I watched him as I grew up for many, many years, Ian Henderson,
yes,
on the Victorian 7pm news, and I watched him for a long time, including his final bulletin and the one that didn't go too well. And I watched him, and his presenting style was great, and he broke a lot of big stories, you know, in the few years I've been alive. And, you know, it's sad that he's not on TV anymore, but because he was just such a great presenter. But Tamara O'Dine and Mary Gearin, I still watch them every night, and they are a great team. So a lot at the ABC, but there's plenty at every network that, you know, I look up to, and, you know, it's kind of hard to have a favourite at some time.
Okay, and we'll have a look at another one of these segments from 6 News, and we'll be back shortly.
You're watching 6 News. There's concern about how fast coronavirus could spread on public transport, despite the fact less people are likely to ride on trains, trams, buses and ferries throughout the country. Safety measures have been put in place, including limits on how many people can be on a vehicle at one time, as well as social distancing measures. They will all be in place, and it's unclear how long they will be there for. It's expected it will be there until at least the end of June. And despite major concerns about coronavirus spreading in supermarkets, employees are still being told not to wear face masks at work. This video, sent to all Coles employees, was obtained exclusively by 6 News. It's been very controversial. Take a look.
Face masks as well are not necessary if you aren't well. I know we've said in the past that the medical profession wear them, but we're in a totally different environment. So again, the messaging we've said to our team members is masks are not necessary to prevent you from getting COVID-19. So gloves and masks, not recommended. There's information about sneeze guards, because I know some of our team members might have family and friends who are seeing what other retailers are doing. Again, this document calls out that they are not recommended. And if you see some of the other retailers that are doing this, and again, we're not here to judge other retailers, but I think it does not take away from the fact that you need to wash your hands still and sanitize, because you're still touching the product, you're still touching potentially money and so forth, and you're protected by a sneeze guard from a very, very little area.
Protesters in the US have attempted to burn the American flag while protesting the death of George Floyd, an African-American man who died when an officer kneeled on his neck when he was being arrested. Here's some vision exclusively obtained by 6 News, given to us by Town Hall Media's Julio Rosas.
You know what's horrible? How they kill our black brothers and sisters, hermano. That's what's horrible. No, it's horrible how they have us enslaved. It's horrible how that Federal Reserve is right the cops, America.
And the Council of Australian Governments, or COGE, has been officially disbanded, with it set to be replaced fully by the National Cabinet. State leaders from all over, premiers from all over the country, rather, will continue to meet to discuss coronavirus, from the restrictions to plans from for the future and creating jobs post-COVID. We'll have more news after the break. Stay with us.
Throwing it all away! All of these ones, everything. I'm throwing it all away!
Get down to Gone Fishing, 29 Latham Road, Carrum Downs.
Nestled in the heart of Melbourne's north, Pascoe Vale Gardens Retirement Village offers premium living for over 55s. Comprising of a variety of 1, 2 and 3 bedroom living options, Pascoe Vale Gardens has an option to suit your retirement lifestyle and could be the next move you've been looking for. Book a tour today and try before you buy for 1 week with all meals included. For Channel 31 viewers, we are offering a 50% discount on a week's trial stay. For more information on Pascoe Vale Gardens Retirement Village, call 1800 11 11 99 or visit pvg.com.au. Melbourne Snowboard Centre's $1 Million Warehouse sale starts Thursday, in-store and online, with up to 70% off all the biggest brands in snowboarding. Burton, Capita, DC, Never Summer, Volcom, Oakley and more. 4 days only, from Thursday, June 18th to Sunday, June 21st. 392 Plenty Road, Preston, open 7 days. Or shop online at melbournesnowboard.com.au.
talking fishing.
Not anymore. All you've got to do is use the drill. No way. And that winds your fishing line in.
Wanna know? Then tune in, folks, cause this is the show. We'll show you all the right bait to use. So sit right back, you got nothing to lose. Doesn't really matter if it's trout or carp, flathead, marlin or a gummy shark. Listen to the guys and you can't go wrong. They'll be talking about fishing till the cows come home.
Just stunning colours. They're just incredible fish.
Hi, welcome back to Inside Six News, and we're here again with Leonardo for our last talk with Leonardo. And so how do your teachers feel about the news broadcasts, and how do they help with your media studies at the moment? Because you're now in high school, of course. So.
Yeah. A lot of my teachers, all of my teachers, they've been really, really supportive. They found out about it, and it sort of spread like wildfire, because I think I told a couple of teachers about it, and before you knew it, I got teachers I'd never met just coming up and saying, congratulations, you're doing an amazing job, and a lot more people saw it then, and they've been really supportive. I guess we haven't been doing too many media studies at school right now, and of course everything's delayed, but I definitely think when we are doing them, that will really help, and you know, it's something I'd be really interested in learning about, the whole media studies, and yeah, the teachers, they've really been great. Unlike previous school, which shall not be named, but if you're on my YouTube channel, you can find out about it pretty easily.
Yes. So the news industry is starting to contract quite a lot. How do you feel about that at the moment? Because it's starting to really sort of shrink down, and a lot of sackings, unfortunately. And
yeah, it's really sad. I mean, even though I've really never lived in a regional area, I'm a very proud and passionate supporter of regional news and keeping it on air, and the newspapers as well, and as well as community TV. I think no one, except for certain people in who might be controlling the decisions, really want it to be shut down and really want it to be off the air. And I think it's sad news. I do reckon, there'll still be a place for young journos like me in the future. But unfortunately, I just don't really think it could be at regional areas and these regional stations. And that's just really sad, because there are so many great journos that have come from there, journos and presenters. And, no one wants local news to be lost, because it's just so important to the community. And that's what I started doing very early on, local news and local only. So sad time.
Yeah, it's very sad to see the regional areas losing their papers recently. How do you feel about the papers? About 100, I think, so papers are about to close.
Yeah, it's awful. Dozens of them, I think. And online only they're going to become, but of course, not everyone. Especially some of the elderly, they're not going to go onto these websites. And the fact you've got the subscriptions as well, that's a whole nother issue. And there's going to be less journalists. I mean, you can't really put a good spin on it. There's nothing good about the newspapers being closed, and they've already been dried so thin this year with stories that are at times barely relevant, and it's just another blow and another unfortunate thing that's come out of 2020, and especially during such a crazy time during the coronavirus. It's just not what we wanted to see.
So before we finish up and see your last segment, how can you find 6 News Australia? Because it's a growing empire just about, isn't it?
Thanks. It's on pretty much all the major platforms now. Obviously, we began on YouTube, so you can find us on YouTube. That's 6 News Australia. But on the socials, the other socials, that's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, at 6 News AU. And you can also be part of it. And as I've said before, our polls and our opinion opinions from the viewers. You can become a part of that using hashtag 6NewsAU. And so that's 6 News Australia or at 6 News AU on all the socials.
Okay, well, thanks very much for coming in today and having a chat with us, and best of luck with the future of 6 News and for your career in general when that takes off, hopefully.
Oh, thank you so much. It was great being here.
And now we're going to take a look at the last of Leonardo's segments. Thanks for watching and good night.
Welcome back. You're watching 6 News. There's concern about traffic chaos around the nation, with less people likely to use public transport, as we mentioned before. Sydney has already experienced traffic chaos with more people driving to school and work, and that trend is set to continue around the country. It's led to major concerns about more pollution in the capital cities. The future of large events across the world is unknown, with our exclusive 6 News poll revealing more than 80% of you won't be attending large gatherings in the next 6 months if it was possible. It comes as an unstable time for the tourism and arts and entertainment industry, with overseas travel to Europe, Asia and North America not likely to happen for a while. What's your thoughts on this issue? Remember, you can have your say anytime. Tag us on Facebook, hashtag 6NewsAU or at 6NewsAU. Tweet using hashtag 6NewsAU and comment on Instagram using hashtag 6NewsAU. Japan has lifted their national state of emergency, with the WHO praising their response as a success. That's despite many residents describing the government's response as awful, even with Japan keeping the amount of COVID-19 cases there at a low level. Japan has been at the centre of several coronavirus incidents, the Diamond Princess cruise ship outbreak, as well as the Olympics cancellation, both of those making worldwide headlines. Alright then, those are the latest headlines from the Channel 6 newsroom. Remember, if you'd like to see more of us, follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram at 6NewsAU, and subscribe to us on YouTube, 6 News Australia, for weekly bulletins. That's every Sunday. In the meantime though, I'm Leonardo Puglisi. Thanks for your company. Have a good night. Main headquarters all the way. I stuffed up.
Stop doing Larkin hits, and he's been wicketed.
I'll just do it here, because my eyes aren't squint.
South.
But we can't confirm any of this because we really don't know what we're talking about.
Shut up! Shut up! Leonardo Puglisi, 6 News. What's wrong with this town? 2 fishies. Blazers are although I'm Leonardo Puglisi's Puglisi's. No, I'm not. Do I even know my own name? 1, 2, 3. That has shook the modern. Oh, don't worry about it.
Thanks very much.
Hi, I'm Charlie Micallef, and this is Savage Seas Adventures Productions. And this is the United States of America. Yes, we're in America. More to come about that. Now, 13 shows in this series. You're going to see Shay, you're going to see Con, you're going to see Jay. What I've done is I've mixed up all the shows that I produce and put them into a 13-part series. So you've got hunting, spearfishing, cooking, you name it, you're going to see it. So, as always, sit back, put up your feet, crank up the volume. This is Savage Seas Adventures production.
Hello and welcome to another